Welcome back. This time we're talking about The Good Place, Season 2, Episode 3, Dance Dance Revolution. As always, this video will have spoilers for this episode as well as previous ones, so if you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you pause this video, go watch the episode, and then come back and listen to my thoughts, and then add your own down below. This episode builds off of the two-part season premiere in which we got to see Michael's second attempt at creating a fake good place to torture our four heroes. And in my review of the premiere, I speculated that if the third attempt failed again, Michael might have to come to our heroes for help. Well, it turns out I was right in this case, only it took 802 attempts for him to get there. And this episode is mostly built around a series of hilarious vignettes of seeing the various failures of Michael's plan. We get to see that despite the fact that they're no longer soulmates, our four heroes eventually group up together and work together, ending with Eleanor realizing that they're actually in the bad place. We also get to see Michael rebooting Janet over and over and over again, which leads me to some new speculation because one of the things I talked about in the season finale was how Janet learns not specific events, but her programming grows with each iteration. If she keeps getting rebooted 802 times, there may be some new quirks to her programming and personality. But we didn't get to see that in this episode. Instead, we had, again, these just hilarious moments of seeing how Michael's plan fails spectacularly over and over again. We also get to see how Michael keeps tweaking the program to see if he can make it work, showing all the various soulmates that Eleanor gets, pretty much every resident in the town, including Tahani and the Golden Retriever. Of course, we have attempt 649, in which Jason is the one that realizes that they're in the bad place. And the look on Michael's face when that happens is one of the best moments of a really funny episode. Eventually, we get to attempt 802, and this is when Vicky, who is still upset over her diminished role in the theatrics of this attempt at torture, pretty much organizes a strike. All of the actors go on strike and our heroes are left alone. And Eleanor and Chidi overhear some of the actors talking off-set and realize that they're in the bad place. And with the help of Janet, they go to the medium place, where it turns out they've actually been 15 times before, which I'm assuming is including the time they visited it in the first season. So 14 out of the other 801 attempts involve them going to the medium place, which does prove that this medium place is an actual place and not part of Michael's fantasy good place. And it's here where a really hilarious episode gets a case of the feels, and that is when Eleanor is shown a video of her and Chidi declaring their love for each other in a previous iteration. Something they never got to do in the first time around, although they did obviously have feelings for each other. Eventually, they make their way back to the fake good place and confront Michael, who, thanks to an enlightening conversation with Jason, of all people, has come up with a new plan. In light of Vicky and the others' demands, which he feels will completely ruin his vision, he's going to team up with our four souls and work essentially against the rest of his people. Although they didn't get into the specifics in this episode, my guess is that he's going to ask them to pretend to not know that they're actually in the bad place, and will probably not actually wipe their memory when they go for version 803. Like I said, this is sort of what I predicted in the my review of the premiere, and it's rare that my speculation actually hits this well. They by no means got there the way I thought they were going to get there. I did not expect to see 801 new versions of the Good Place, but it was hilarious. I had a lot of fun with this episode, and there's a couple things that came out of this episode, and depending on how they go forward, will allay some of my concerns over the reboot and the reset, at least as far as their memory goes, and losing some of the character development. The first thing is, although it's not immediately clear how long they've been in this latest version, but they've been there long enough for Eleanor to reject Chidi as a teacher, eventually go back to him, and him to begin teaching her about ethics and how to be a good person. It has not been so long that Chidi knows about Jason not belonging, but Eleanor did, and it seems like Tahani, for the most part, is out of the loop on pretty much everything, concerning her reaction when she confronts Michael later in the episode, when they, I guess, essentially filled her in off camera. So essentially, we're not going to go back to that immediate day one Eleanor. She has been there long enough to have some changes. The other big thing, of course, is seeing that in various versions, she and Chidi had fallen in love. And obviously, the knowing of a relationship is always an interesting way to tell a story, and it'll be interesting in this case to see how they handle this moving forward. So overall, this episode delivered a hilarious half hour of television, while simultaneously not necessarily fixing, but allaying some of my concerns with this season. I really look forward to see what's going to happen with Michael and our souls having to team up together to fake this world continuing, and how they're going to continue telling stories under that idea. Is Michael going to agree to let Vicky have more control, so we're going to have some differences in the next iteration? I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and find out, but I look forward to continuing to watch this series and finding out exactly what's going to happen. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to you. What did you think of this episode? What was your favorite version or attempt of The Good Place in this episode? As always, you can subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other reviews, and until next time, remember, still no biting.